Welcome, everyone, to our show. You got your host, me, Landon Sikahema, and joining us here today, we have our recurring guest, my good friend, Scott Muhlstein. Scott, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. So we're returning to our countdown of his top 10 list of his top 10 countries he's ever visited in his life. Again, Scott, with his background and his job, he's traveled to a lot of places all around the world, but we are counting down his top 10 favorite countries he has ever visited. With a couple episodes in the past, we visited his 10, 9, 8, and 7 favorite countries. Number 10 was number 10 was Norway, 9 was Spain, 8 was Morocco, and 7 was Malaysia. So for this one, we're regrouping at number 6. Scott, what is your number 6 favorite country you've ever visited in your life?
My 6th is Portugal.
Okay, cool. Now, so with Portugal, it's cool because now that we've gotten 4 countries in previous episodes, his 4 top favorite countries he's visited before, 10 through 7, we can talk about some connections because with the last episode and number 8 was Morocco, and as he talked about, Morocco is close vicinity-wise to Portugal, and so, there's connections, to Portugal and Morocco. In addition, Portugal's not too far from Spain either, correct?
Right.
You're number 9, and so we can talk about how there's some cross-influence there, but yeah, let's talk about number 6, Portugal. Why, what do you like so much about Portugal?
I mean, there's a lot of things to like about Portugal.
Okay, obviously it's your number 6 all-time favorite place, huh?
Yeah. That's
Now remind me, Portugal, unlike maybe some of these places you visited before, you have been to Portugal more than once, correct?
No.
Oh no.
Only once.
Just being your friend all these years, you've talked to me a lot about Portugal. So I was under the impression you've been to Portugal more than once, but even Portugal, you've only been to one time?
Do you know what's funny about that?
What's that?
It's funny that it comes in at my 6th.
Okay.
Because in a lot of ways, sometimes it comes in at my number 1.
See, that wouldn't surprise me because in all the time I've known you, you've talked to me about Portugal a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Which led me to believe that you've been there more than once, but you've only been there once.
No, and what I often tell people is if they ask me what my favorite country is,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll even say Portugal. But it's my favorite country for different reasons than my number 1 in this list. The reason sometimes I tell people it's my number 1 is because it's the one place that I would consider living.
Wow.
Besides where I live now,
Which is Hawaii.
But yeah, I would actually consider living in Portugal. So in that way, it's my number 1, if that's how you're ranking countries that I've been to. But as far as the most interesting travel experiences, it's in at number 6.
Wow. I mean, that's still so high because you have traveled to so many places around the world. Right off the top of your head, before we go farther into Portugal, I don't want you to think more than like 5 seconds at all, but off the top of your head, how many countries do you think you've traveled to?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it more than 20 most likely?
It's about there.
Okay.
About 20, 21.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about Portugal. I mean, what do you love so much about Portugal from this one trip you made there?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a lot of ways it has to do with expectation as well. I think, when you go and see a movie,
Yeah.
and you're not expecting it to blow your socks off, to knock your socks off,
Okay.
but it does.
Mm-hmm.
That was my experience with Portugal. Because, growing up, most people you hear about Paris, you hear about Rome.
Hear about London a
You hear
lot.
about London.
For sure. Everyone loves those places.
Everyone, at least everyone knows those places.
That's true, but I feel like most people I talk to who have been there,
Yeah.
they've loved it. But I guess you're right. A lot of people, like everyone knows those places, and so even people who've never been there, that's where everyone wants to go if they've never been there. It's like everyone wants to go to London, they want to go to Rome, they want to go to Paris.
Yeah, it's just in their consciousness.
Correct.
But for some reason, Portugal isn't.
I would agree with that because I haven't heard nearly as much about Portugal.
No. And I feel the same way, really similarly, about Portugal as I feel about Laos. Where
like Laos is highly underrated.
Yeah, like everyone knows about Thailand, it seems like.
Oh yeah,
You know?
everyone knows about Thailand.
And I think a lot of that has to do with Thai food.
I think it has to do with a lot of things, but
Sure. I mean, Thailand's amazing, but like I never hear people singing the praises of Laos. And in fact, when I tell people how much I like Laos, which we'll get to later, they're always surprised.
Huh.
You know, and it's kind of similar with Portugal.
Because again, everyone hears about London, Rome, and Paris.
Exactly. But I mean, people know what Portugal is. You know, maybe
They've heard of it, yeah.
heard of it, and like they maybe haven't heard of Laos in America. You know, or at least not.
It's pretty sad, but
It's
yeah.
sad. But yeah, I mean, Portugal people are aware of. Maybe in history class they talked about the Portuguese explorers, these kinds of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, was Columbus Portuguese? Or was he Italian?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Sad how much both of us don't know, but yeah.
I thought he's Spanish.
Oh yeah, I think you actually might be right. Anyway, regardless, it's sad that most people don't know as much about Portugal, like you're saying.
Right.
Is the capital Lisbon?
Yeah.
So that's a big city there.
I mean, I believe. I hope.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to Lisbon. But yeah, I think why I liked Portugal so much, and maybe why it stood out to me so much, is like I mentioned in the previous episode, you know, we got this really good flight deal to Portugal, you know, something like 400 round trip from Hawaii. So it was a really unexpected trip, and we flew in not to Lisbon, but to Madera. And a lot of the reasons why I love Portugal have to do with Madera as well. Because Madera is this island off the coast and
of Portugal. But it's considered part of the country of Portugal.
Yeah, it's part of Portugal.
At least politically, I guess.
And it is so beautiful. Like up there with Hawaii, natural beauty.
Wow.
It is just beautiful, gorgeous, but in a different way than Hawaii.
But still a very natural beauty that is on par with Hawaii as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, for sure.
It's called Madera?
Madera.
Okay, we keep going.
Yep. And it is just full, packed with gardens. Just everyone has gardens, it seems like. And there's so many things like potatoes growing, and it's just gorgeous everywhere you turn. And it left a real impression on me, that place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you give me any more specific nuances about the nature of the natural beauty, which you say is on par with Hawaii and yet different from Hawaii, and yet it is an island, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, probably the biggest difference from Hawaii is it's European, you know, and it feels European.
In terms of the natural beauty?
No, but like in Madera, the buildings and everything are intertwined with the landscape, right? And so like
and so not only the natural beauty is intertwined with, you know, what you love so much also, which is architecture.
Right.
Okay.
And so there's all kinds of architecture, all these beautiful houses and buildings and things. And then, you know, you can get outside of the more populated areas, and if you drive around the island, and there's just these gorgeous cliffs, ocean cliffs, you know, with beautiful views of the ocean. Wow. And then there's these beautiful forests and jungle type areas.
Wow.
That are just gorgeous as well.
Green, lush, thick,
green, thick
jungle.
Tropical, you know, kind of vegetation is beautiful. I mean, maybe technically it's not tropical. Maybe it's like some other, I don't know.
But it's still thick and lush with green in these jungle areas.
Very green, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like it's semi-tropical. But yeah, I just didn't know anything about Madera. You know?
Okay.
I didn't know anything. And so flying into there, I was like, okay, this place is amazing. And it was so unique. And I mean, there's all kinds of things to do there. You can hike, you can swim, you can, you know, have this kind of road trip experience and walk around the town. It's amazing. And then, you know, in the city, there's also a really unique thing. They have these toboggans, which is kind of hard to describe. I wish, you know, like some of these like fancy podcasts, they'll like pull up the images. But they have these really steep roads. And I guess back in the day, they built these kind of sleds, and the sleds ride down the roads, and they're pulled by people. Like,
is something that still happens there?
Mm-hmm. But like now it's like a tourist attraction. It's like you can pay to ride these sleds down the streets.
that are led by people.
People pulling them, yeah. And they're pulling you like at pretty fast down the roads, like pretty
Down the roads and also down the hills, you're saying?
down the hills. And
Is it like the people are hooked up to it like a horse would be? Or
no harnesses. I'm trying to imagine it in my
is it
mind.
almost like a rickshaw, but a sled?
They're not carrying it.
Huh.
It's like on the ground.
And they're just almost dragging it
Dragging
as fast as they can run?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, pretty cool. And I didn't even know what that was, and we just
Is it something that you're partially just doing for fun for the ride, or is it a means of getting from point A to point B, where it's like you go pay the guy and be like, I want to go to this place?
Well, I think back in the day they used it for transportation.
But it's not used for transportation anymore. It's literally like you're just doing it for
Doing it
fun.
for the fun.
Okay.
To ride through the streets on this kind of thing.
Streets where there's cars and stuff.
No. I think in those streets they're walking streets, if I remember right.
Streets that, you're going from place to place, but it's just walking.
Yeah.
It's just a street for walking people.
I mean, there might have been cars.
But it's mostly for walking,
Yeah, I think so.
which is another thing that is highly unique. I mean,
Yeah.
who's ever heard of that? I haven't.
Well, some places in Europe there's walking streets.
But you talk about how it's more like that in general in Europe. Like you talked a lot about that when you talked about Spain.
Yeah, exactly. Like this emphasis on walking. And
Well, that's pretty cool. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it was really fun. I still don't really even understand what it was, but it was a heck of a lot of fun. And it's very touristy now. It's kind of like when you go to like an amusement park or something.
Yeah.
And they have like they take your photo during the ride and everything. There's a photographer taking your photo and you can buy it. So they got us. We bought the photo. I should have brought it to the podcast.
No, you're good.
But yeah, that was awesome. That was unexpected. But yeah, I just love the area. I love
Of the island
of the island. It's just beautiful. You know how much I love natural beauty
and architecture,
and architecture
which is very intertwined in this place.
for sure. And there's this one moment on this road trip that we did around the island that always sticks out to me, where we were driving and all of a sudden there was no buildings, no other cars, nothing except just the natural vegetation. And I remember looking into the forest, and it was thick. Like the forest was thick and dark, like very dark. Like if you were in there, you couldn't see the sun,
If you were in this jungle area, or would you more call it a forest area, or both?
Maybe forest. But
It's so thick, like that. It's so thick that the trees overhead are so thick and lush
yeah,
that you couldn't see the sun, even if it's in the middle of the broad daylight,
yeah,
like 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
yeah, really dark.
because the forest overhead is so thick.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
it's like keep going.
The reason it stands out to me is I had this feeling looking into that forest, and it's a feeling I felt several times in my life. Only
Okay.
several times.
Mm-hmm.
And the other times I felt it were actually here in Utah at the Great Salt Lake. This one time nobody ever swims in the Great Salt Lake anymore. I don't know why. It's kind of like the the Dead Sea, where it's really salty, right? And one day I'm getting to my point, but
No, please. I want to hear the whole thing.
One day I was like, I had swam in the Dead Sea. And so I figured, I was visiting family in Utah and I wanted to try out Utah's version of the Dead Sea, the Great Salt Lake. And I heard that you could float, right? And so I convinced my mom to drive out to the Great Salt Lake with me. And I went for a swim all by myself. Nobody else wanted to go. I don't know. People have this aversion to the Great Salt Lake for some reason. They think it smells and there's flies and stuff. And there are flies on the coastline.
Okay.
But once you get past the coastline, it's beautiful, gorgeous water.
Okay.
Anyways, I was swimming out, and as I started swimming out, I realized, you can float really good. I mean, you can just sit there and read a newspaper, if you want.
Like in the Dead Sea,
Yeah, like in the Dead
which I have done, by the way, on my study abroad in the Middle
Yeah,
East.
you've done that, so you know.
It's pretty epic where you just go and sit in the water and there's so much salt, you're like just floating.
Isn't it cool?
It's an amazing experience.
It's amazing. And have you done it in the Great Salt Lake?
Nope.
See, why don't people do it? I don't know.
I just never heard that you could, and have never been with people who did. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's something about me is, you know me. I just want to try things. And so I swam really far because I realized no matter how far I go, I'm not going to sink. You know?
Okay, so you're doing this in the Great Salt Lake in
I
Utah.
go out really deep, I mean, several football fields out. And by the time I got really deep or really into the middle of the lake,
Mm-hmm.
I was just sitting there, and this shudder of fear came over me.
In the Great Salt
In the
Lake
Great Salt
in
Lake.
Utah.
This deep fear. And it felt like kind of like a very, almost like a primeval fear, like it's something that was very core to my humanity. Like this old fear. Like it wasn't
Like this instinctual, like animal fear.
That's a great word.
Like you're as if you were like a lion or a tiger and you felt like your instincts telling you that there's danger.
Run. Yeah, or something like that.
Okay.
And it was, like maybe less like a lion and tiger, more like, like an antelope about you.
Yeah. That's telling you a lion's nearby.
Lion's nearby. And in that moment in the Great Salt Lake, I felt like as absurd as this sounds, it felt like there could be a beast, lurking in these depths, like it felt like there could be like a sea monster or some sort of beast, I just had this sense, and I wasn't even scared up until that point. I wasn't thinking twice about it, and, obviously a sea monster couldn't live in the Great Salt Lake because it's salt, and and nothing really lives there except shrimp, apparently.
Okay.
Anyways, I tell this story because I felt that same deep primeval fear when I looked into that forest in Madera.
Real quick, with the Salt Lake story, what did you do when you felt this primeval fear? Did you just start swimming back to shore?
I started swimming back, but I couldn't go very fast because you've been in salty lakes like this, and if you swim and you splash your eye, it's going to burn real bad.
So by the time you didn't swim very fast, but you eventually got to shore, did you ever see or realize what led to this primeval fear?
I don't think there was anything there. I think it was just maybe my body reacting to being out in the deep all alone.
Several football fields out from shore.
Yeah. I mean, after that, I looked up online, like sea monster, Great Salt Lake, and I actually found something really interesting.
What did you find?
Well, first of all, I found out that the Native Americans did have legends about the Great Salt Lake and there being this giant, like, monster, like mosquito monster out there.
That lives in the Great Salt Lake, in the depths.
In the depths. Yeah, so that was
a giant mosquito monster.
That was kind of spooky.
Okay.
But at least I think it was in the depths. But as part of that research, I also found something really crazy.
What's that?
Most people in Utah probably don't even know. But did you know that there were whales in the Great Salt Lake once?
Like anciently or something?
No, recently.
Oh.
This is crazy. But back in like the 1800s,
okay,
there was an entrepreneur, and he brought whales on a train in tanks to the Great Salt Lake.
From where?
From the Pacific Ocean.
And they put the whales in the Great Salt Lake?
Uh-huh. Because, at that time, if you've ever read like Moby Dick or something, right?
Which I haven't, but I know you have.
You need to. But, whales were very prized for their oil, for their fat, for whale oil,
Yeah.
so for lamps and things like that.
Yeah.
And so his plan was to bring a male and a female to the Great Salt Lake and have it reproduce and then create a whale farm in Salt Lake City.
And did they?
They lived, actually. And he made like an enclosure for them.
In the Great Salt Lake?
But they eventually escaped his enclosure.
And no one knows where they went.
Nobody knows where they went.
And no one apparently found them washed up dead any place. So
no, I don't think
we have nothing but to assume that they survived for at least a time
Maybe.
and maybe thrived and reproduced.
Yeah, I think so. I think if I remember right, there was a newspaper clipping back from that time that said somebody spotted them alive, and maybe they're eating the shrimp. But what's amazing to me is that they could survive in the salt, because it's way saltier than the ocean.
So this primeval instinct you had, it very well might have been connected to this mosquito monster legend the Native Americans had.
I mean, I don't think so, but
But you feel like something, you didn't bring up this primeval feeling that you had for nothing. And even though you got to shore and you never saw anything, you're thinking that something was there, whether it was whales.
I mean, you know me, Landon, like I'm a skeptical guy. I'm skeptical.
You're a skeptical guy, but sometimes you're like an overly open guy compared to most people, I think.
That's true.
So you're often open to things.
That's true. But if somebody pinned me down and said, like, do you think that there's something big living in the Great Salt Lake? I would say no. I don't think so.
So you don't know what led to this shudder you had?
No, I mean, if I was going to guess, I think it's just being out in the deep, and something.
Okay.
And I think that's why I bring it up in relation to the forest.
Okay, you had the same primeval shudder when you stared into the depths of that forest.
Yeah. And that feeling, it felt so scary, but it also felt so natural, like so human. And I felt it in both cases. It actually happened to me first in Madera. That the Great Salt Lake experience was later.
Okay, so you just, this feeling led you to not want to go into the forest, the deep, thick, lush forest over there?
Yeah, but not only to not go, but just to be fascinated. It
Oh.
was very fascinating to me. And I was going to say the only other time I've really felt that same feeling is in Bali. And not actually in the forest, not in the deep, but actually in Bali looking at statues. There's these certain statues in Bali that are of these barong, these deities. They just have this certain quality that gives me the same sense.
That gives you a certain fear that's somewhat like the fear that we all naturally have when we fear something, but also just a certain almost respect and
instinctual fear or something. There's something about those statues. There's something about that forest, and there's something about the Great Salt Lake when I was there that feels similar. And that's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring it up, I mean, this might seem to be like a funny thing to bring up in a travel
No, you're good.
countdown podcast.
No, you're good.
But the reason I bring it up is because those are some of the things that I love most about travel, is experiencing something that's that visceral that connects to the rest of my life,
And it also just almost like shakes you not only with fear, but just a certain amount of awe to your core.
Awe is a good word, because it wasn't only fear, but a sense of awe.
Yeah.
Of something bigger than myself.
Yeah, just awe-inspiring.
Yeah, but in a scary way. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I always remember that.
Does that mean you never went any deeper into that forest then?
Oh, no. I mean, we kept driving on the road. We didn't get off into the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is epic. It's like something you read from a novel or see in a movie, that there's like this thick, lush jungle or forest that is so thick that in the middle of 1 p.m. broad daylight, if you were to walk in there, you couldn't even see the sun at all. It would be so dark because of how thick and lush the trees overhead are.
Yeah, and
that is epic.
Now that you continue to explain it, I know what links those three things, actually.
What's that?
Which is because I had the experience in Bali first, and then I had the experience in Portugal second, and then the Great Salt Lake third. And I remember thinking when I was in Madera and looking at this forest, that like there could be a beast in there. And I thought that I was
a beast of some sort that we might not have know anything about.
Exactly. And I thought that I was like a rational, American citizen, that like
a skeptical person.
A skeptical person that doesn't believe in beasts, that doesn't believe in demons.
But like I said, there's this other side of your personality that's like highly open to stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like it was striking to me that it was like, I remember it was the first time that I experienced that in nature when I was in Portugal, where I felt like, those demons that the Balinese are sculpting, or I thought they were demons. Now I know that they're more like closer to guardians or protectors.
Huh.
But from like an American Western perspective, they look similar to what we would consider demons.
Yeah.
Even though they're considered to be like positive,
Yeah.
protecting spirits. But whatever the Balinese were sculpting, it felt to me like it could exist in that forest, and that they're sculpting something that feels real in some sense.
Yeah.
There's something real to it.
Yeah. Some kind of spirit guardians.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And
or a beast in the case of the forest on Madera.
And it just made me think, like, like if we were living in the forest, closer to these deep forests, we wouldn't laugh so much.
Laugh?
Yeah, we wouldn't laugh so much at stories about
spirit guardians or beasts.
Spirits,
yeah.
Beasts. Like, I think very quickly most of us would be more open to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if my visceral sense is any indication.
Yeah. I think you're probably right.
That's just my feeling.
Yeah.
But I mean, in any case, it sticks with me, and it was a very interesting experience.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So anything more to tell us about this island?
I mean, I've gone off on Madera for quite a while.
No, I just keep going.
Actually, no. I mean, it was just awesome. I would love to go back. It was beautiful. Really cool. But unfortunately, we didn't get to stay there too long, and we flew over to Lisbon, which...
So there's really nothing else you want to cover about the island?
Not about Madera, no.
So the cool things that you can do there, that you did there, you can swim, you can hike in these gorgeous places. Yeah. Nothing else significant that you tried there?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to the island first, and then from there you fly from the island Madera to mainland Portugal.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so we fly into Lisbon, and I mean, Lisbon is amazing.
Yeah.
Lisbon is an amazing city.
Okay.
It is gorgeous in every sense of the word.
So what, like,
of course, the buildings,
architecture wise,
those buildings. I mean, the image that's cemented in my mind of Lisbon is these yellow buildings. They're all painted yellow with this white trim, right? There's so many, I mean, not every building, obviously, but like most of them are quite colorful, the buildings in Lisbon. But they're in this style. The style is probably from like the 1700s, I imagine. So
you think a lot of these buildings might date back that far?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A good amount of them, huh?
Yeah, maybe earlier.
That's amazing.
Some of them later, I don't know. But like beautiful, beautiful buildings.
Wow.
And alongside the buildings, these like cobblestone roads, right? Just beautiful cobblestone. And
which I would guess might date back in some cases that far also.
I'm sure.
1700s, sometimes maybe even earlier.
I'm sure. And then these beautiful courtyards, I mean, as with Spain and and Rome and Italy, but
because remind me,
yeah,
we talk about these cities that everyone knows about and like really wants to go to because they've heard of it so much.
Yeah,
you have been to London, Rome, and Paris, correct?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so you've been to these places that everyone just gushes over going because they've heard about it so much. You've been to these places, those again, especially those three main places: London, Paris, and Rome.
Yeah.
And yet you would talk about Lisbon and Portugal in general as being on par, if not in some cases somewhere you prefer over those places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's really cool.
Although I'm not on the naysayer train with Paris.
No, you're not saying that you don't like Paris, London, and Rome.
In fact, I think I like, for instance, Paris more than most people that I talk with. Like, whenever I talk with someone that has been to Paris, they're always explaining, I was kind of disappointed.
Like it's overrated,
dirty or whatever. But like I love Paris,
So it's interesting. Yeah, all these people, we talk about people, especially in the States, who gush over wanting to go to Paris, Rome, and London, and yet most people who've been to at least Paris, from what you're saying, they don't even like it as much as you do, and yet you like Lisbon more than Paris.
Yeah, I think so.
That's an interesting distinction to make to most of our viewers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it more. And I mean, to be fair, there are things that Rome has or Paris has that Lisbon can't hold a candle to.
Okay, but all things considered, holistically, you overall like Lisbon more than Rome and Paris.
I mean, some of those things, like, you can't replace the Louvre, right?
Oh, sure.
Like, nowhere has the Louvre.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So if you're, like, really into art, I mean, you can't beat Paris.
Okay.
Or, like, in Rome, like, the ruins.
Yeah.
Like, the ruins are amazing. And you can't beat Rome for ruins, really.
Yeah.
Maybe you can somewhere, but actually you can in Cambodia. but Rome is up there.
But with that said, all things, if we take all aspects considered, pound for pound, you like Lisbon more than Rome and Paris and London.
Yeah, and you know me, I like the underdog. I always like the underdog.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's not just because of that.
No. I love it. So, yeah, I love Lisbon, but you have this beautiful architecture, but that's not even all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have that in other places. But then you have, and this matters a lot to me, you have an amazing music scene.
Okay.
And so this is not just like they have good bands, or something like that, but like the street music.
Yeah. Okay.
Like just all throughout Lisbon, there's street music everywhere. At least there was when I went.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like now. But there is amazing street music and people just busking and playing. And maybe it's the policy that the city has that they allow for street music. I don't know, because some places they're strict. But I have these like really vivid memories of like the street musicians and how good it was. And then, I mean, the bars and the clubs, there's amazing music in there as well going on all the time, it seemed like. And just the atmosphere and the friendliness of the people was unmatched. I've heard.
What's so unmatched about the atmosphere?
I mean, it's hard to explain. It's close to the ocean. I love the ocean. It's this music. It's this kind of things. It's everything. It's everything combined, right? Like the architecture, the music, the food. The food was also amazing. And then, I mean, especially at this time, like the price was really good. Like it was really cheap compared to these other places. So I could indulge in getting good food. And
that is significant, the ability to indulge in getting good food and other good things.
Yeah, because I'm sure if you had a lot of money, Paris, I bet the food is amazing.
Yeah, but it does cost a lot more.
And I've heard that Portugal has gotten worse in this respect.
Okay.
Prices have gone up and it's gotten more crowded because people have discovered it, People are moving there, But at least when I went, it was amazing. And it was the first place I ever tried cod,
the fish,
which I love. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Salted cod,
which was really good there, huh?
Really good. And I don't know, have you read that book Cod? Have I told you about
Oh, no, it's a fairly new and famous book, though.
But yeah, I mean, I hadn't read the book at the time, but I've since read that book, Cod.
And it's that good?
And I mean, I just love cod. but
it's written by the same guy who wrote the book Salt?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I believe so, yeah. But like, at least it's the same kind of book.
Yeah.
I think it's the same author, yeah. And
he should write his next book about marijuana.
Just one after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the book really brings out like how important cod was in Portugal and
like even in like centuries going back.
Centuries gone by, yeah.
And yet it's still something they're known for, and it's just so good when you eat cod there.
Yeah, I really loved it. I mean, it's very salty, so if you hate salt, maybe it won't be your thing. But I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just delicious, and they had this amazing pastry in Portugal that was just to die for. And I can't remember what it was called. It's probably the most famous pastry in Portugal. I should know. Next time I'll do more research before I speak about food. But yeah, it was so good. And yeah, I love Portugal.
Did you have any other significant cultural experiences there, or cool like museums you went to or anything like that? Or
yeah, Let's see. One of my most memorable experiences in Portugal was we were driving around the countryside, me and my brother, and we saw this kind of like gathering of people.
Okay.
They were all crowded around like this kind of like house, and it looked very festive. You know, people were dancing and eating and stuff. And so we kind of like pulled off to the side of the road to take a better look. You know, and in retrospect, it sounds really nosy.
Okay.
But I don't know. We were just like curious what's going on.
Because it wasn't in like the city, it was at the countryside somewhere where it's
Countryside,
just big. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and we were just like, what is this? And the people at the party saw us staring, you know?
Okay.
And as soon as they saw us staring, they saw us and then they motioned for us to come over. You know, like, come here, come join us, you know? And so because they were motioning for us to join, we said, okay, we'll go join. And it was a group of old folks, like elderly people.
Yeah.
And they were probably in their 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And they were getting together and partying. And that's all it was. It was a party, you know?
Yeah.
They had this huge pig that they had roasted. And they offered us the pig right away and like just gave us this pork.
Yeah.
And then like made us eat it.
Yeah.
And got us to start dancing with them.
Was the pork good?
The pork was good, but there was still hair on the
body.
On the body.
But it still tasted good.
I mean, it was good, but
You guys really got what normal people's comfort zone would be.
yeah, it was a crazy experience. But I think the reason it stood out to me so much is like I can't in a million years imagine that happening in the U.S. Like I can't imagine a group of older folks just inviting me to join.
Like being glad that you were kind of being nosy.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I can't even imagine old folks having that much fun in the U.S. Like I feel like in the U.S., the only time people have that much fun is like maybe in a bar.
Yeah.
Or like maybe at a concert or something like that. But like
so then the old folks started having you dancing?
Dancing, and they're dancing and singing and making us dance. And it was just so jovial and they were so friendly.
Yeah.
And it just really stuck out to me like, man, this is the kind of life I want to live when I'm old, you know? Like
So you were just dancing outside in the countryside in Portugal?
Yeah.
With mostly all old people?
Yeah, old folks, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Any other cool cultural or experiences in Portugal? Or
I mean, we went to Porto as well. It's the other big city in Portugal, and that was amazing. Just a beautiful city, right on the water as well, and gorgeous architecture again. I don't remember like the street music being so pronounced.
Yeah.
But it was great. Amazing food again, and I think actually Porto is maybe even more beautiful than Lisbon.
In terms of the architecture and the natural beauty? Or
Yeah, I've never talked to anyone that's been to Porto that didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Crazy.
Are we going to have time as well for...
We'll probably just, wrap this up with Portugal.
Yeah, okay.
But
yeah, sorry I get so excited.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
So anything else to say about Portugal, like in terms of museums or cultural experiences or?
I mean, again, I would love to go back and dive into some of the museums and stuff like that. But we were just kind of going in blind, you know?
So you didn't have any experiences with museums or anything when you were there?
No, not that I remember, except for like some public monuments and things like that. But I mean, it was just an amazing place, and we made some cool friends there. Some of the buskers, the people playing music, they even let me play, because I play guitar, and they let me play with them on the streets, which was awesome. And yeah, it was just such an awesome experience. I would love to go back. I almost went back this week. I was planning to go back this week, but instead I'm here. So,
is there anything else to say about that cool countryside experience where these old people are outdoors cooking a pig and dancing?
I just think it's so important, you know? Like, it's something that's really stuck with me, that like that is what makes life worth living.
Yeah.
You know, being outside with people, enjoying food and enjoying dancing.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes life worth living. And I think it's one of the reasons why, like, in the States, like we're struggling with isolation. We're struggling with like this kind of like loneliness.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we need to do, is just get out and and hang out with people outdoors and dance and sing and eat, that's what makes life worth living, I think.
How did they cook the pig? Did you see, like, did they have it over a fire on the outdoors?
I'm not sure. It was already cooked by that.
But it looked largely like it was when it was alive. Like it wasn't. There was still hair on it. So
still hair on it, yeah.
So they hardly, like, it seemed like the pig was still, intact in its entirety. They were just pulling meat off of it. And
yeah, it's one of the strange things, it's like none of them spoke English. And so, like, as we were dancing and hanging out, like, we tried to ask these kind of clarifying questions.
And you couldn't communicate that well? But you understood they wanted you to come join, and were people playing instruments outside while you were dancing?
Accordion and dancing.
So it was just all, like, their own physical instruments. It wasn't like a radio or anything.
Oh, no.
So they were just playing accordions and dancing, and got you guys to go dance with them out.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like was it in a village or just out in the middle of the country?
Just at a house,
Outside the house.
Yeah.
How was the texture of the hair that you were eating from the pig?
I mean, it was a pig, just thick hair,
Which you had some hair that you swallowed and stuff, huh?
I didn't swallow the hair. I mean, once I realized it was hair, I spit it out. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But
that's a really interesting, fun cultural experience, man.
That was amazing.
They were just playing accordions outside, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just a lot of fun, and it's inspiring to me, It's one of the reasons why, like, back home I try to get people together and play music. It's changed me.
That's a very cool experience you had, like, not in the big urban area, touristy areas in Portugal, like kind of out in the countryside. You had this very authentic, cultural experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it sticks with me a lot. But, yeah, I'd love to go back.
That's really cool. Anything else to wrap up about Portugal in particular, or no?
No, but, yeah, I would love to go back someday, and this reminds me I need to get to making my salted cod.
Yeah.
Time for me to learn that dish.
Anything else in particular about food experiences you had there besides the cod and the pig with hair on it?
No, not that I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Well, if you're good to wrap up Portugal there, we can wrap up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so we'll wrap up. Please join us next time for our episodes counting down Scott's top 10 countries he's ever visited.